land is your land. President Trump are clashing in Berkeley, California. This video. This land is my land. From California.
This great state of California, one of the most progressive states in America, is on board the political revolution.
I think you're muted, honey.
Okay, we get a do-over because that was totally lame. Sorry, everybody. It has been a long primary season and we're all pretty tired tonight. But this is a Progressive California special coverage of the June 5th Super Tuesday primaries. We've got a lot of states to talk about, but we really only care about California tonight because, oh my gosh, there's a lot going on. We hope to have a special live check-in from David Hildebrand, who's just chilling out at his watch party tonight. And I just had a Facebook message from him, so he's standing by. So we'll see, bring him in. I might be able to track down Adriel Hampton and let us know what's going on in the San Francisco races with Gayle McLaughlin, etc. But our polls don't close for another 20 minutes or so. So we're really not going to have much to share on returns right away. But that doesn't mean we don't have anything to do because it's not just me. We also have Joseph Sakata and Freeman Michaels and Marcus Krantz up in the middle of the freaking night in Dusseldorf, Germany, to join us for this broadcast. Oh, there we are, all four of us, yay! And Freeman's got good light. Everyone. So we are here to kind of run down, what we know to date. And if you guys are in other states that have primaries today and you have results to share, please let us know and we can look it up. But for right now, let's have everybody check in and say hi and say what they know about today already. Joseph, what do you know?
Apparently there are people's names being left off of the California rosters in LA County, which means that people haven't been able to vote.
How many?
They were given provisional ballots. So,
how many?
Over 118,000.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and it's a Hispanic district that apparently is
so
pretty affected.
One district, not across the whole area.
What the particular district, the 39th district apparently is the one that's been hit the worst by this. So,
okay, oh great, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah,
shenanigans in the California primary. Well, at least they didn't call it for somebody yesterday, like in 2016, which was a drag. Freeman, what's going on with you?
I think it's interesting that unlike the 2016 primaries, it's really hard to get a pulse on what's going on. And I can't tell if it's because people just aren't using social media as much, or if it's because it's a midterm, or if it's a primary and a midterm, or if it's only a primary and a midterm in California. But it's like, I don't see, it's hard to really gauge, like, are people excited? Are people frustrated? Are people worried? I see it all over the board. So if you ask me what's going on, I have no clue.
And Marcus, it's in the middle of the night in Dusseldorf. What have you heard? Anything on your side of the pond? Because sometimes you'll get, more than we do.
Yeah, I can tell you it is right now 4:40 in the morning, and you can imagine that I did not receive any information at that hour. You know more at the moment, but I think over the evening we will get some more results here, which I can share.
Yeah.
Certainly in the San Diego races, I've seen a lot of noise about Genevieve for district attorney and
really?
Myers for sheriff. And that's a good thing. It's like, even though I'm not really on the blue wave and I'm hardly even on the Democratic Party train anymore, and those are both Democrats,
right.
but it's like they're both good people and they are both in it for the right reasons. So it's
isn't John Vieves really contentious? Isn't that some drama going on there? Is that what you're saying?
There's always
comparable to something that you've experienced before.
What's that?
I thought you were equating it to the Gore race that you.
Oh no, there's a Gore. Sheriff Gore here. Against Sheriff Dave Myers.
Okay.
Those are two races because Gore it's like we have escalating police violence in San Diego and he doesn't seem responsive, and Dave Myers is running against that. So that's
okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I got the races mixed up.
Freeman.
Yes.
Isn't Dave the guy that we thought we were going to have on and then we haven't heard back from him?
It's like I heard back from him for the last time we reached out and then we couldn't get anything scheduled.
All right. Well, hey, if you're out there, is it a little late? But we'd still like to talk to you because you seem like a progressive cop, and that's weird.
Yeah. It's I think, and he actually was suffering some backlash from the police force. They said no gay cops and stuff like that. So he kind of posted a screenshot of that on Twitter.
Wow.
And he's like, "Sorry, man. It's in the 2000s now. That's not going to happen anymore."
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm excited for those two races, those two local ones.
John, what about right now while we're waiting? Because I know Gayle McLaughlin's race is a huge one that we're going to be watching. And we have got the video when she was on Jimmy Dore recently, which gives a little bit more of her background and some details about the court case against Chevron that she was so responsible for winning. If that is handy, maybe we could watch that for a little while.
We could, but first, I just want to say hi to all 49 people who have dropped by already.
Good Lord.
We got 49 people hanging out, and
we have tens and tens of people watching.
That's a big audience for us. Thank you guys for being here. I mean that in all seriousness. We haven't had that kind of group in a while, so it's not live at one time. So hey, William, a lot of old names. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, well, I told you, people are looking for a progressive place to watch the returns. So they came to us. So that's cool. Just awesome.
And please share.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So
So everybody share to your friends, and we'll get tens and tens more people.
Yeah, because we're getting censored like crazy. So
yeah.
All right. Here's the Gayle piece.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. We have a special guest today, a true progressive who's got a record of winning against corporate America. Her name is Gayle McLaughlin, and she's a candidate for California Lieutenant Governor.
So
Richmond,
apparently I
California.
didn't turn off Slacker.
Haven't heard of it. You have heard of Richmond, and I'm going to tell you in a minute. She has 12 and a half years experience serving in Richmond. 8 of them as mayor. And in 2014, guess who endorsed her? Bernie Sanders endorsed her in 2014. She's here with us right now. Gayle McLaughlin, thanks for being our guest.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. It's great to be on the show.
Well, listen, people think they haven't heard of Richmond, but they have, because there was a big story a couple years ago, a couple of stories, actually. One of them was you fought back against Chevron. Chevron has a big refinery in that area, and they ran candidates against the progressives, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because that, to me, was mind-blowing. They spent $3 million in a local city council race, and you still beat them.
That's absolutely right. We got a lot of attention for that issue and other issues as well nationwide. But in regard to Chevron, there's this big refinery that has polluted our community for decades, for 100 years. And, we moved forward as progressives, formed a progressive alliance in Richmond in 2003. I was a co-founder and started running corporate-free candidates for local office. And I was the first corporate-free council member, and little by little we had more. And I stepped up, ran for mayor, and won both my terms, was elected and reelected. And, in 2014, you mentioned Bernie endorsed me and two of my colleagues, my RPA, Richmond Progressive Alliance colleagues running for office. He endorsed all three of us. We all won, and all the Chevron-funded candidates lost. And you're right, Chevron spent $3.5 million to try and defeat us that year. And many other years they spent millions trying to defeat us. And we just kept winning, so that in November 2016, we got two more corporate-free council members elected. So now we have 5 RPA members sitting on the city council, corporate-free, out of 7. That's 5 out of 7, a super majority. We completely turned around the political, dynamics of the council, the political composition of the council. From, a little over a decade ago, it was all Chevron-funded candidates. Really, they were all in Chevron's pocket. And now we have this corporate-free supermajority. So we've come a long, long way.
So I think that's the thing that people who are progressive need to hear, that you are a winner. You are a winner. For years and years, you've been fighting against the most powerful corporations, fossil fuel corporations, and you've been winning, and without big money, right? So that's, I think, what people need to understand, is that you are a winner with a proven track record of fighting the powerful without a lot of money and winning. In fact, in the 90s, Chevron used to have an office inside the city hall, right? They used to have their own desk right there, which is crazy. And you got rid of that, right? They got rid of that?
That's right. Yeah, Chevron used to have a desk outside the city manager's office, a Chevron representative that kind of guided the staff. It was really insane. So that's not there anymore. No, of course not. So we have, we're just really proud that we have shed a little light on the national scene, that it can be done. If you work hard, if you organize, if you really put the people's agenda, out there, people recognize who's who and what you're standing for. And if you build an organization, you have to build a corporate-free organization that's inclusive, diverse, that's progressive, that's corporate-free, and that operates year in and year out, not only just in electoral years, because this organization builds a movement and it runs those corporate-free candidates. So between the movement and the corporate-free elected officials, you have this joint governance where you really can move things forward in a city. And we've just made remarkable transformation policy-wise, and so many accomplishments.
So let me let's just get one of the major accomplishments, right? So correct me if I'm wrong on this story, but you had to sue Chevron to receive some compensation for their polluting, and in fact, they had that big fire that was up there because of their faulty pipes, correct?
Absolutely, yes. In 2012, there was a major fire in Richmond that they were prosecuted and convicted of criminal willful neglect because of their pipes, where they did not replace them and they were worn thinner than the width of a dime. A huge fire where 15,000 local community members ended up going to local hospitals to be treated for respiratory ailments.
Now that was national news. That was I heard about that. A lot of people, if they saw the footage, I'm sure would remember, because that was an amazing catastrophe that happened.
It certainly was. And, it wasn't the first one. It was a major one, but there were other ones. It seemed like every 5 years or so, some sort of problem, major, and a major incident would happen. So, I, along with other council members, pushed, and the community pushed, that we were going to sue Chevron. The first time in the city's history, we sued Chevron for damages for that fire and for previous damages as well. So right now, the city is in court with Chevron, and we expect to come out with some real strong compensation, and also some assurance that this kind of situation will never happen again.
And once the Chevron kind of realized that they weren't going to be able to get control of the city government, didn't they come and make an offer to the city?
In terms of the
did they ever of compensation for things they had done? Did they offer $100 million or something like that?
No, that actually was a tax settlement.
Oh, okay.
We the city, we the community put forward a tax on large manufacturers, which would have predominantly affected Chevron, and the voters voted it in. You know, they said, yes, this big corporation should pay more to the community. And Chevron took us to court and they won, and Chevron won. But we were, you know, there was a technicality in the ballot measure that they won on. So we were changing the ballot measure. We were going to go forward with another ballot measure. So Chevron came to the negotiating table. They knew we had the community with us. So we ended up negotiating over $100 million in additional city taxes for our community. So that's what can happen when you have the community on your side, when you have corporate-free elected officials that are standing shoulder to shoulder with the community. It can happen. It happened in a city that used to be controlled by this corporate master, but now democracy is ruling in Richmond. And we think it really sheds some light on what can happen nationally.
And so, just so people understand,
Dare I did it again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys. Yeah, Gayle, what a badass. Was really fortunate to meet her several times live during this primary season. And she always had such great energy. And I am always really impressed with her. And she has a lot of time for everybody. And it has been doing a lot all over the state. And I can't think of any better role for her than lieutenant governor, which is a role that lets her touch a lot of different areas, from education and energy and all those things. Anybody else have anything they want to say about Ms. McLaughlin and her campaign?
There's nothing much to add. She's wonderful, and I think the lieutenant governor job is only when she gets it, then I think she would also give later, in a later time, a great governor. You know?
Oh yeah, no,
I wish her all the best, because she is the best choice for the job.
Yeah. No, this is one race where I really think we have a great chance of
I didn't know she was endorsed by Bernie twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That seems like a big thing. It's funny to me. It's like, even as much as I pay attention, you can still miss so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just so much. Like I barely know who she is, even though I would say I'm a pretty big political junkie and pay attention to a lot of what Bernie says.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just that much stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, I've just had, being in California, I have had ready access to her because she has done lots of events in San Francisco that I've been able to go to. So proximity being what it is. I did want to give Joseph a chance to say about what he got to see on Saturday.
So I went to a few Bernie Sanders rallies on Saturday. That was pretty awesome. I actually got to shake his hand.
Oh wow!
Did you?
He happened to be exiting in the same place where I was sitting. And he was just giving everyone handshakes, and he shook my left hand. So
tell the truth. You grabbed his hand as you walked by.
After he shook my hand, I was like, I need to hug this guy, so I tried tackling him down, but his security was actually on top of it. They're like, no, we get it. We have the urge to, but no.
So which ones were you at? Were you at Disney?
I was at the Anaheim one, and I was also at the Rally for Justice one.
Okay. Who else? Any other speakers there besides Bernie that were interested?
Well, for the Anaheim one, that was you guys played a bit of it for the Progressive Weekly Review on Saturday, I believe. But then right after that, he had on people on stage who were people who worked for Disney, and they were all telling their stories, how some of them had medical problems and they were like struggling to make by. There was this one woman who had worked for Disney for like 30 years, and now she was in this position where she had been evicted twice, and she can only feed herself once a day. And it's a disastrous kind of situation that we're in there. And Disney really should be paying these people at least $15, probably.
Well, didn't I hear that they did?
They're
or is it
sort
one
of,
of
I think it's in the shady
will?
area where they're talking about it, and they're gonna actually have to negotiate it very soon. I was also at the Rally for Justice rally where Sean King was speaking. He did a very dynamic speech about how Bernie should definitely run for president in 2020. And I know there's a lot of great candidates there. David Hildebrand was at both the Anaheim rally and
seeing his
at the Rally for Justice rally, because I think he's either the Forrest Gump of our time or he's a Time Lord. I don't know which it is. But that guy's everywhere. So, and there were other candidates, Delaney Easton, Maria Estrada, like a lot of other candidates there because it was a Bernie rally. Really fun. Got to see Bernie up close a few times. So that was also really exciting too. So, yeah. And like, I think Bernie's definitely getting ready to run in 2020 though, like just because the way he's coming in and the fact that he's even in California at the time.
Yeah. So. He's not hiding in the background. He's setting the pace, actually. Well, that's awesome. Well,
you guys are talking about Gayle and endorsements, and I know that Bernie is important, although the win record with Bernie endorsed hasn't been what people would like. But I just wanted to show this is Gayle has a few other endorsements besides Bernie.
Good point.
That's a lot.
We've got slides. We can do
What's more powerful is the fact that you got all these R Revolutions on there and DSAs and all sorts of others. She's been working it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's not even all endorsements, you know.
No, Progressive Alliance. All right, I'm done. You guys go back to your show. It's your show.
I'm gonna have to temporarily leave though, because I have a thing to go to. So
Joe has his
back in
to go to.
Yeah, I'll be back in like half an hour.
So we can do a 3-way while he's gone.
Wow, she said that live.
I did. It's a thing, honestly.
No, I hear people do 3-ways. That's great, Laura. We didn't have to revisit it so soon.
Oh God, I'm getting so much trouble for that.
It's not the Saturday show.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I have this browser in the background. I'm just waiting. It still says 0%. I'm like, come on, just give me one vote. Just who voted? Just one vote in this precinct. I want to know.
It's 7:59. They can't tell you till after the polls close.
I think that's weird that you can't have the voting. Like, I think you should be able to see it. Like, if voting should happen over the course of a week, and you should see the running total. Yeah. And if Hillary's behind, then you're like, all right, Hillary people, now's your chance. It's like it. I don't want to say it makes it like a horse race, but at the same time, it would get people involved. And it's like, I like that whole out in the open, and it doesn't have to be one black box for 12 hours, and now we're all waiting.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. Was there any exit polling? I know for the last primary, they canceled exit polling before by the time I got to California.
Now I'm so cynical. I'm like, who paid for the exit poll and who do they want to win? It's like the newspapers obviously have, they don't want non-establishment candidates. So it's like, you're right with the exit poll, but I don't even know who's going to pay for it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's totally not planned. I apologize. Put Marcus on screen there. I realized he was taking a union break. That's legal in Germany over there.
You know what you're doing, John. Yes. I don't forget this.
If any of us were eating, we would be pointed out. At this point, I would like a chance to take a quick break. Do we have a song that we can play in the meantime and throw some Twitters up, maybe?
Yeah, I suppose we could do that.
John, can we?
Can we do that? Hey, you're the producer. You tell me.
What do you got? You should check in with the audience and see what they're doing.
Okay.
You got a nice crowd here. Did you find out what they have any news? Any other primary news?
I haven't seen any questions.
I know. Why am I not looking at the YouTube audience?
Hi, guys. 59 of you. Hi.
Holy crap. Okay. I mean,
my
goodness.
It was the 3-way talk.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Thank you, Oz. For a live 3-way, $3.
Thank you, Oz.
Thank you, Oz. Very kind of you.
$5.
Bye.
It's a family show here. Come on, it's a family show.
Yeah, it's a family show. Exactly.
Forgetting it's not the Saturday show with my usual crew. Any guys? So chat. Any requests? Any news? Anything that you want to share? Any big questions? Now's your chance.
And yeah, I do have a song ready, so we'll go to that. But yeah,
okay.
So
well, I do want to acknowledge everybody. And so Jupiter Judy, Gunther.
On the slides, if we can go to slide 3.
Ooh.
I thought that was kind of, to me, that's not my slide. Oh.
No, you'll get it in a second. Give me a minute. Slide 3. All right.
I thought, John, you just like clap your hands and it would be done.
Yeah.
So this don't expect early votes. Is that what we need to hear?
Yeah. I was just like, because that was for me, that was sad. It's like, I know every time right when the voting closes, you're not going to get anything. But when they just like crushed my hopes there, I'm like, maybe we'd at least get some votes in 15 minutes or something. And when you click the link, it says it's not voting until 11, or you don't even expect any votes till 11 p.m.
Well, I'm not staying up that late. Sorry.
All right.
Depends on how badly you want those votes.
I don't need to be the first person to report them. I just wanted to be here when they come in, or congratulating people or whatever. So I do have David Hildebrand on. He's just hanging around. He's waiting for returns. Once returns start coming in, we should be able to get him in.
Great. Well, I can run this song, Laura. What I don't have is a full screen Twitters. I should have set that up. I don't, but I'll make one while we run a song. So
okay.
We have
this can be just the song one.
Be right back, everybody. This is Jai Paul, Jasmine.
I'm going to read these comments.
Okay. Oh, nice. You've made us a Twitter screen.
Yeah, it took me the whole song, but you know.
Yeah.
There,
well,
and now
nice.
I gotta hang on, I gotta pull it off. Thank you for being here, everybody. While we make graphics live.
Thanks, everybody. And expanding electrons. Thank you. And that's a nice quote. The most powerful force in the universe is integrity. It has one natural villain, and that is greed. We are one. There is no other issues over identity. I like that. Thank you, E. And a nice $10.
Yay for capitalism. By the way, in terms of conflicting stories, the Washington Post says results expected soon.
Oh.
So go figure. I don't know how Jeff Bezos gets the inside scoop, but he may be actually writing.
Oh, well, gee, I wonder how Jeff Bezos gets the inside scoop.
He's reporting what he's already instructed. So,
yeah. Yes. Well, we'd like to know that our vote is just waiting to be counted, but you never know. So thank you, everybody, for being here. How many do we have in the audience now?
You've got 59 still, but I just want to. Alex Carta says the only problem with a pot party is that it will not be taken seriously by the people with stuck up their rear. But I mean, are you talking about like a pot party in terms of politics, or just having a pot party?
They're talking about naming a third party, and some people are suggesting that it be called the pot party.
Yeah.
So Alex's comment is that some people would have a problem with that.
The internet named a serious, expensive research vessel Bodie McBoatface.
Talked about that.
So there is a chance that maybe people are basically saying, F this shit, I'm out.
I was just
the marijuana party. It is like the pirate party. There's a Jedi party. All of these things, you never quite know. I wouldn't go with the Jedi party based on what Disney's done anymore. But
Marcus, blow them away with how it works in a democracy like Germany, where you can actually have a satire party for reals.
Yeah, as you guys know, if you know the show, you know me, you know my party preference. It's Die Partei in Germany. It's a satire party, but they are sitting in the European Parliament. You know, they were elected, and they are representing me in the European Parliament. Yeah, and I like it, of course.
Jonathan asked an interesting question. He says, "How is Chelsea Manning doing in her political race?" And I actually caught some on Twitter last week of that she was having some problems, mental problems.
Did you see that not only there was the suicide, but also the police came in and started messing with her?
Oh,
there's been so many of these stories that it's hard for me to keep up.
I tried to dig the backstory. I heard Chelsea is resting and safe, and then before that it was an apology. So I think there was a suicide attempt or whatever. So
do people not know about that?
A suicide attempt, and then a wellness check by police just like yesterday with guns. A wellness check.
Sure. Okay, and so I missed that.
There was that wellness check of the kid in the shower who he was autistic or he was mentally challenged or something. And they tased him, and he ended up dying.
Oh, is it tased him 18 times?
Yeah,
is that the one? Oh, lovely. I know. So Jonathan, to answer your question, Chelsea Manning's race is probably not going very well right now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because she has a lot of support, but at the same time, I didn't see her make any bold, concrete statements.
No,
like she said, "Wouldn't life be great without religion, without borders?" But you need something concrete. And I never quite got that out of her platform. And I even tried to reach out because you guys know I was trying to sell.
So did we. I've been trying to get on the show for months.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to sell her on the whole cooperative economy because I said, this is actually targeted to exactly what you're talking about, but here's an actual solution. And I never quite got anything back from her. But it was interesting as a race, like running as a Democrat. Like there was some obvious conflicts of interest. I was curious where that race was going and wondering how she was.
Yeah. Oh, Freeman, there's a question for you in chat. Gunther asked, what is your opinion of co-ops?
They're fine. I feel like a lot of things are just Band-Aids. And while a cooperative, like there's a cooperative down the street from me in Ocean Beach where it's a food co-op, and that's great. And I think that it's a good start because people feel a little ownership, or they technically have ownership over that institution. So it's good. It's not going to try and take over the world like a corporation would. But in terms of what I was talking about, a cooperative economy, in my opinion, it doesn't go far enough because it doesn't share its intellectual property. So there's a little bit of confusion. Maybe I named the cooperative economy incorrectly because people are thinking of a bunch of co-ops around Like I don't know what are some of the more famous ones, but like there's a lot of little people's co-ops, like little food courts and stuff like that here in San Diego. And that's not exactly what I was really going for. But in terms of, I mean, are they fine? Like if people want to get together in a business and have a cooperative, I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not quite sure that's what they meant. Let me see if they ask again.
No, Lynn just said that Cox is in the lead for California governor. Lynn, where are you getting your info? 'Cause I'm not seeing any returns yet on the New York Times.
Who's delivering the news here?
Yeah. Well, this is an engagement broadcast, and whoever gets it first gets to deliver it.
Right.
And if that's in chat, then that is in chat. And Lynn is one
Early results in CA 49. Oh, that's in Orange County.
Is that Danielle?
Yeah. I'm trying to see where.
Is it Danielle St. John, who we interviewed just on Sunday night? That's
so the Republicans got 32%. Diane Harkley, I've never heard of her. Mike Levin with 19, and Sarah Jacobs with 12. Doug Applegate with 7, and then Danielle is at 0.3. This is in Orange County, not San Diego. Mm-hmm. I've never even heard of Harkley. I mean, he's a Republican, so maybe I wasn't paying much of attention.
Yeah. So what site are you getting this off of then?
Me, I just saw that off of Matthew Thoreau Hall. So he works for Union Tribune.
It's not on the
Are you on hashtag? Are you on Twitter or are you on a website?
Yes, I'm on Twitter, yes.
See? Twitter always gets everything first.
And I have a tab that's just for the Union Tribune folks.
Okay. I'm going to go over to that hashtag.
Wow, the flip to 49th isn't working too well for them.
Wow.
If the Republicans kicking their butt.
Well, we did have an awful lot of people running.
And Mike Levin is the guy that's winning? That's disturbing.
No. Really?
Yeah, he was Isn't
he the establishment Dem?
Kind of, but yeah, but the nice looking clean cut one that people say, oh, I would vote for him type of, but more establishment than Applegate or Daniel.
Applegate, yeah, that's the guy, yeah.
And this is also Orange County, because Orange County is conservative.
Yes, it is indeed. My daughter lives there.
I really expected Applegate to do better with his military background.
Yeah.
I really did. Sorry, Laura, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that, yes, my daughter lives in Orange County, and it is very conservative there, and a lot of Trump supporters.
Good point, Density McCartney. It's the anniversary of Bobby Kennedy's assassination. Today? Yeah. Okay. Today or was it yesterday? Either way, 50 years.
Yes, yeah. 50 years, give or take.
Let's go back to the three-way talk.
Yeah. No,
hang on.
We're in a two-way now.
European three-way, everybody.
There you go. It's a Marcus sandwich.
Yeah, okay. I can deal with it.
Okay.
That's how
I'm just looking to see if I can say anything else on Twitter. The latest.
I want to know if my write-in campaign for shit sandwich in the 52nd district shows up.
I am seeing. Here's somebody said California primary 18 scandal. My local polling place was out of I voted stickers when I went there around 7 p.m.
Oh, good turnout. That's good.
Yeah.
Gosh, if that's the least of your complaint, then.
Oh, I know. That was meant to be. That was meant to be.
I know.
Funny.
That's awesome compared to the disaster stories we heard last time.
It could be days. Somebody says it could be days or even a week or two before we know the final official results from the California primary. I believe that. There's you. That's interesting. I find it weird that a polling place I went to didn't require me to show identification in order to vote. I think that's normal protocol.
All right. So there was a question a while back that I just want to touch on. A couple people have mentioned it, and so I want to hear everybody's take. Although when Joe comes back, Joe is back. Check it, everybody.
Joe
back.
No, Joe.
Joe.
What perfect timing to ask this question.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Except I got two Freemans. I got to fix the shot. Hang on a second. Shit.
What'd I do?
Man,
So
double
here's the
Freeman.
question, and we'll start with whoever. How do we deal with the splitting of the Dem vote, such as the Hildebrand Hartson dilemma?
I don't like future races or Like,
Sure,
because
it's too
like
late
this
now.
one's it's already too late for this one. I mean,
Mhm.
the election day right now and the polling location is just closed.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Well, if
for,
this
like,
is our
future
if this is our practice election, if this is progressive practice election, we just had a whole lot of people who got some practice.
That's true.
A lot of them aren't. Most of them aren't going to win. But look at all the people that can now go on and try this again. But I can't imagine, you know, if you wonder why Doug Applegate isn't doing well, is because there's, you know, other, you know,
He's
what
been
people see is-
smeared a lot this election cycle.
Yeah.
It has not been very good.
Really?
The smears have been working. Like they got stuff from his like past divorce cases and stuff like that, which got really ugly. But and his ex-wife was like, no, like they are taking this out of context, and they need to be like, it's not what they're making it seem like. But you know, voters don't have the time to actually look straight into whether or not this stuff is really affecting whether or not this stuff is actually true. So they hear this stuff and they go, oh, so maybe there is a bit of I think the allegation is that that Doug Applegate did some domestic abuse with his like in his past marriage. Truth seems a little bit more nuanced, and if you actually look into it, it's like, okay, I think Doug Applegate, especially because his ex-wife is actually saying, hey, there's nothing really to this story.
Yeah.
There probably isn't anything to it. It's just the smearing, and they're going after him on everything now. So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, he has a bit of a tough race ahead of him simply because of that. Although in other cases, though, that kind of the voters not really taking the time to actually get it truly informed does help. For example, California's 29th district, as I mentioned on Sunday, Representative Tony Cardenas allegations that he sexually assaulted a teenager when he was a city council person, and of course voters haven't taken the time to actually look into that. I've looked into that case. It's a little bit iffy as to whether or not it's actually true. There's the dad of the accuser supposedly tried to sell the story to Cardenas's opponents in the past. That like stuff like that muddles the story a lot. But like most voters don't have the time to look into that stuff, so they just hear, "Oh, my representative is supposedly someone who sexually assaulted a teenager," and so in that case, they might go possibly vote for the Green Party candidate. We're in a really weird situation with California right now, where we might actually see quite a few Green candidates end up in the general, which is interesting, really. I mean, because the jungle primary system has usually screwed over third-party candidates. So
I'm still registered Green, so. Yeah.
Hey everybody!
I like
so
that.
Just to interrupt rudely, 538 has a lot of results, and they're live blogging the results, and they've got some California information. I pulled it up here, but there's a lot of stuff to read, so you guys should probably pull it up and read it yourselves. But while I'm going
that's
here,
the Nate Silver thing, right? 538.
Yeah, 538. Yeah. Hi everybody! I won't leave them on cam. You see my ugly face for a second while they pull up 538. I'm gonna read a couple of things they were just talking about because they've made some calls, right? So we just talked about 48th district, no 49th with Doug Applegate, right? So Dana Rohrabacher leads with 30% in Orange County in the 48th district, which is entirely within Orange County. So that sucks. And let's see. Polls are closed, but we have some California calls. Democratic Jermar Jefferson and Doris Matsui will advance to the November election in California's 6th. Barbara Lee will advance in California's 13th. Jackie Speier and Republican Christina Osmena will advance in California's 14th. Jim Costa and Elizabeth Hang will advance in California's 16th. What we got here? Grace Napolitano will advance in California's 32nd. Karen Bass and Ron Basilian will advance in California's 37th. Zoe Lofgren will advance in the 19th. TJ Cox and Republican David Valadio will advance in California's 21st. To all of you who are advancing, I'm butchering your names and having a fun time. Really having a fun time.
Okay, well, I've got some returns on the Senate race. We got Dianne Feinstein leading at 38.1%.
Why?
Yeah, that's with 1% reporting though, right? Or
we got it's something. And we got James Bradley, who's a Republican, in second with 11.9, and Kevin De Leon in third with 7.3. But again, these are just starting to come in. And
yeah, especially because this is a big one. Like that's just initial, and Dianne Feinstein's gonna get the normal older vote to begin with, and yeah, we'll just take that one.
So David, hang in there. 0.3. He's gotten 1,152 votes. So, go for it.
Yeah.
Newsom's got 36% right now in the governor's race.
Now, the one I'm looking at has got him behind. Now, what percentage does yours show?
They just launched two new posts just came through on 538. So
okay,
I'm just watching the updates, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's still early though, so
it is.
Yeah.
It's the numbers from the New York Times, I guess.
Yeah, maybe the New York Times are not. Yeah, John Cox, I'm showing 34 for him and 23 for Newsom.
Yeah.
But again, New York is awfully far away. They might be behind.
Well, thank you all for reminding me of 538.
Yeah, that was a thing.
No District 3 vote yet, density. I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any of the congressional things coming through.
No, nothing up yet.
So your daughter lives in California's 48th district?
She's in 49, I think.
49.
She's in Oceanside. So.
Interesting statement here about the 48th. Something Democrats may bring their hands over in the 48th. 3 Democrats who dropped out are combining for 5.6% of the vote. Well done.
That race is hard. They don't really have a real progressive Democrat. And there is like an independent, Kevin Kensinger, who's he's pretty progressive. It's just I don't know how much of a chance he has.
Can I state the lesson to progressives already right now? The lesson for 2018 is we have to unify instead of working in silos, folks. Got to unify.
Yeah.
Although in the case of House District 48, like there were really no progressives, so like that one's like a call where you have to say, do we want to settle with this moderate Democrat who is a former Republican, or do we want to settle with some of these other guys who are equally corrupt and shady and not at all progressive?
Melissa asks, do you guys think there were too many people running against Feinstein? Yeah, you think?
That one.
I think it's funny, like not funny, but it's unfortunate that we still don't have this formula worked out. Like progressives still, every election, we still fight. And we still have the same old argument about the lesser two evils or how many should we run. And we never actually sit down and say, okay, screw this race. Let's actually come up with a plan for next race so we don't fight it out. And let's force the Democratic Party to do it that way. And you just don't ever see that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Freeman. Absolutely.
Well, wait a minute. You said every race, like this is 2. Yeah. I mean, we had special elections in 2017, but this is like election number 2. We had, so really, we're come on, give us.
We see this problem a lot with California specifically, I think, because I think like with the John Fetterman race, for example, that was a race where a lot of progressive groups actually like came around him, right? Or am I wrong? Am I thinking of someone else?
No, you're right.
Okay. Well, he done in California.
Yeah, he prevailed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like California is like big, and we have a lot of different progressive groups who are not talking to each other at all. So we have to fix that aspect of it. And I think every election, like we didn't fix that. We just continue doing our own little thing, which doesn't help because it's our own little thing.
Right.
So hopefully we'll be able to take 2018 with what happened with the California Senate race, with a lot of these other House races, that we'll be able to come up with a little bit more of a structure. Maybe Gayle McLaughlin with Gayle Ford can actually come help out a little bit with that.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this before. The groups just have to talk. Like they aren't right now. DSA in LA doesn't talk with Our Revolution. They should, but they say, no, we're doing different things. We don't talk to each other. We have nothing in common. No. So we got to fix that first. I think that's the fundamental key to it.
It almost seems like we have to get back to voting purely, not voting, but talking about pure issues. And if world peace and healthcare and poverty are an issue, instead of trying to figure out how to solve that problem with the party, figure out how to solve that problem as a group together, or multiple options, and then maybe part of the party can be, part of the way to move forward, but also you have other ways that you can move forward with that same thing, and you're not just stuck completely trying to fight other progressives for how to come up with the best party or the best plan, because it seems like conservatives always seem to get behind their one guy, more or less.
Yeah, they tend to be better at that.
They think we're better at it, but yeah, it's funny. Both sides kind of like, the conservatives are jealous because progressives have protests and stuff.
They have more fun.
Yeah.
They're cuter. There are 32 people running for that seat, that Senate seat. And I'm just noticing that Allison Hartson is actually doing quite well. She's got 14,000. She's in the top 10 of 32.
10 of 32. That's insane. So Melissa H. mentioned it back, and I just want to back it a bit in the comments here. Why can't the California progressives get together and have a convention? I think that's a great idea. You got resources, folks. And you have modern technology like this system here that could help you do all that together virtually. And Larry Taylor's in the crowd. So hi, Larry Taylor, who says we're working on 2020 in Oregon right now, and they are. We just had Larry just put on a seminar that's on YouTube, Uphill Media, that talks all about the rights and responsibilities and power that precinct committee persons have, and the information is pretty, standard across all the states. It's not just limited to Oregon. So.
Well, we did have that Rock the Congress event in San Francisco a couple months back. That was a really good model for what progressive, a functional, useful, educational progressive convention could be. And they talked a lot about all the really cool tools that people can use for free or for not a lot of money, and harness the power of the internet, because more and more I think these elections are going to be decided on the internet. It's not, we still have plenty of people reading their old newspapers and listening to the radio, but that's going to change, and it's changed drastically in the last 8 years. So
don't we forget Obama was the first one to fundraise mostly on the internet.
Right.
Oh, right.
And Bernie did such a beautiful. Bernie took the art of email marketing. I mean, his fundraising ones where he would say, "Oh, we're going to try and reach this much," and then he would send you another email. Okay, we completely slaughtered that goal, so now we're going to try and do this much. And everybody got so excited. It was amazing. He could raise millions in one night just by using the internet brilliantly. So progressives, we got to up our game. There's lots of stuff that you can do without having a bunch of money, but
I feel like progressives have an innate challenge that conservatives don't have, in that we view the world differently. At the end of the day, we want to stand up for the little guy because that's what our hearts tell us we have to do. And as progressives, a lot of times we're willing to do stuff that has a low probability of success just because we want to at least try. At the end of the day, we have to try. We have to do something that gives ourselves hope.
Right.
And conservatives don't have that requirement. Like that's what progressives need. At the end of the day, we have to have hope. It has to make our heart has to make sense. But conservatives they have to be able to logically see how to make their life better through the system. And conservatives say, well, if I don't like what the government's doing, how am I going to petition? Because protesting doesn't help. I can't vote the guy out of office. And their hearts aren't taking over, and they're not saying, oh my God, we have to have this. We have to stand up for the little guy. They're saying the structure of the system has to make sense. That's why they're very much rule of law. And so when they're forming a party, they can disagree because it doesn't mean that your heart is misplaced. But it seems like in progressive circles, and it goes to an extreme, especially when you go to the Green Party. And we've been involved with a little bit of the Green Party with Danielle running. And if you aren't, for some reason, valuing what they feel is a top priority, all of a sudden you're bad. And like you just see this division constantly on the left. It used to be Hillary and Bernie. And then after that, it was write in Bernie or Jill or go to Hillary. Or are you evil for not voting? And it's like all of these things, because progressives say, if I disagree with you, it feels like you're hurting our heart.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the problems that we have to overcome if we're going to form a new party or in any sort of top-down organization with progressives. That core issue of progressives not being able to hear each other without getting offended, like the other person's heart isn't as pure as yours because they don't have the same priorities.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was my experience.
Well, and I've heard a lot of people complain about different purity tests and filters. And
yeah.
This is part of. I think it's necessary to be this picky right now, but we definitely have to unify around the core issues and forget about the petty bullshit, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want to. Somebody was asking for some good news in the chat, and I wanted to push this up.
Is there any?
This is sorta. I want to say sorta, because this says, if I'm reading this correctly, we'll have to correct in check in stats. No woman has ever served in the U.S. House from Mississippi. Tonight's results, all 3, and then in parentheses 3 are. I'm assuming that means 3 Republican women House candidates defeated. Ensure that this will continue. That's bad news, right? Good news or bad news? I'm not sure. I don't know. They're Republicans. They're women. See, I'm sorry. I thought this would be good news. It's not really that good. I apologize. I blew this. Never mind. Okay, hang on. I'll try for another one.
Well, how about good news? Gavin Newsom's got 37%. I guess if you like Democrats, that's good.
Okay, that's a generic. Dianne Feinstein, AP just announced is moving forward. That's
yeah. Well,
I thought we'd get that pain out of the way early.
At 3%. Okay. Well, there's.
Someone in the chat mentioned ranked choice. That would be a nice thing to have.
That would be really nice.
The thing is, the parties will never go for it, and the reason why they never go for it is because that gives too much control to the people.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. It's like if there's going to be an easy solution, they don't want it.
Ranked choice voting does solve it. I agree with that, Freethinker. Here's your results right now out of 39, California House District 39. I don't know what percentage we have
District 39?
Republican Kim got a lead right now in that. So I don't know that district either. You guys got too many districts.
Yeah, we do.
No kidding.
It wasn't good news, Brom. I was wrong.
We have too many politicians.
So none of the House
are
showing yet. Oh, some are. Jackie Spear in District 14. Wait, what?
I mean, there's some where it's like they don't even have more than 2.
Oh, well, you know what? If there's only 2 people running, I guess they both advance to the general, don't they?
Well, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay.
And like District 40, Rodolfo, who is a pretty progressive guy, I think he's running as Peace and Freedom. I'm not 100% sure. Let me look into that.
Okay.
But he's automatically going to be going through into the general because there's only 2 people running.
Well, Brian Witt. We interviewed Brian Witt, District 27. It's only he and Judy Chu, so they're both going.
Oh, good for Brian.
Yay. All right. A win for the We the Peeps alumni. Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks like Matthew Hall, 43 seconds. He's a San Diego Union Tribune reporter. He reported Diane Harkley, 16,000, Mike Levin, 11,000, Sarah Jacobs, 10,000.
Which one was that?
That's California 49.
49.
So Harkley, the Republican, 16,000, Levin and Sarah Jacobs with 11 and 10. Levin with 11.
Okay.
Well,
I'm showing that they still have only just.
This is from Matthew Hall. Who knows? He says it's from San Diego. It could be 2 votes from San Diego. We don't know.
Okay.
We're early on.
Lieutenant governors are in.
Oh.
The first results. Gayle McLaughlin at 2.0, 12,000 votes. In leading is Cole Harris, of course, 23.9. And then the first Democrat is Ed Hernandez. And then there is Eleni Kounalakis, the woman who is trying to buy this office with 18%.
Her purchase has been effective, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
We'll see what 10 million buys.
Adrian had a lot to say about that.
Yeah, so 5 million of her money and 5 million of Daddy's money, and we'll see what percentage of votes that buys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Unbelievable.
All right.
Someone in the chat room said, follow the money. I'm like, God, that is just so true. And it's amazing how many times you can just keep repeating that same mantra for things that are even uncomfortable. It's like, what's going to happen with the Democratic Party? Well, what does money want them to do? What's going to happen with the government? Well, what does money want them to do? And it's a lot of times we like to just micro focus on, well, this candidate's only money's affecting them here, but you kind of close your eyes about some of the other bigger stuff. So when someone says follow the money, I'm like, oh, that is just so true. So true.
what was it? Play by pay?
Pay to play.
Yeah.
Money in politics is kind of one of those big things for me, but I also don't really see any clear path forward. Like how it's like to get money out of politics, you need money. You know what I mean? It's like you need money to actually get people.
Well, that's the whole, catch-22 we find ourselves in, is that in order to beat these money people, we need money, but then we resort to doing what they do to get money, and we don't want to do that. So
yeah.
I mean, you can see how someone who is trying to do this campaign, and they're putting themselves in personal debt, and if something comes along that would help them do this, I would imagine it'd be very tempting. Or as we've heard before, people get into office, on very pure intentions at the first time, but then to get reelected, all the connections that they make while they're in office become a little bit heavier.
We got results for Secretary of State. Ruben Mayer with 4.8. Alex Padilla, the incumbent, is 41.9.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just depressing.
You guys got a lot of work to do. Well, yeah, it's got a lot of work to do in California, and I'm just gonna say this right now. It's not just your ground game. We have to unify, and we need to compete with media. I've been saying this for a long time. You're getting your asses kicked because somebody can spend $10 million on media. You're not going to compete with that without having media. Mm-hmm. So it's time, folks. Our revolution, Justice Democrats, brand new Congress, your efforts with media are insignificant compared to mainstream media. We got to up that game. Great on the groundwork. We're covering groundwork. It's great. We got volunteers up to ask for groundwork. We need media now. It's time to bring in the air game and match it. We can't. You're just like firing BB guns at nuclear bombs is what we got going on here. So there. All right. Now I ranted enough. Back to you.
No,
I've got, for Secretary of State, I'm showing, and because mine might not be most current, I'm showing that Alex Padilla and Mark Muser, the Republican, are tied.
Yeah.
Can we go to slide 3?
I bet we can.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have that one, and I can change. Can I change it on the fly while you're showing it?
Yeah, if you want to.
Awesome.
Whatever you do there is going to show on screen, right? So.
Most excellent. That's the way I like it. Let me. Oh, cool. Yeah. So this is from the San Diego voter registrars. A screenshot I just took. Yeah. So this is the 49th district minus the Orange County votes, and it looks like it's pretty much uniform across San Diego and Orange County. What's fascinating though, it's like there's one Republican that was in the lead, and the rest of the Republicans aren't doing anything, and then there's all the Democrats. So
Diane's the Republican. Harkey?
Yeah. And it looks like, wow. Well, in San Diego, Sarah Jacobs is second, at least right now, with what is that, 15%?
Oh, how's Jess doing?
Oh, yeah.
25.
I'm getting nothing. Well, no, we're actually starting to get results into this one. She's 4.8.
And I also just updated the district attorney and the sheriff that I was super excited about. And this is such a bummer because this one to me was such an obvious. Like, Genevieve is such a good person. Her whole main thing was that we had existing rape kits that needed to be tested. Like, how could anyone vote against that? It's like, we want to test rape kits. And that was one of her main things. And then the sheriff was about the public not getting their asses beat. And if you look at the results here, they're both losing.
Yeah.
Oh man, Steve Knight in District 25, 50.
I mean, to be fair, Brian Caforio is the other progressive who's been endorsed by Justice Democrats. So
really?
there's a good chance that we'll get a progressive in there. It just might not be Jess Phoenix, which honestly, getting a scientist into Congress is
she's
pretty
only
cool.
she's only in 4th position, and they have less than 1% reporting. So.
Yeah. But we have a chance of actually replacing that seat with a progressive. That was my point. Yeah, because there's Brian Caforio, Katie Hill. I wouldn't necessarily call her progressive just because she sounds more centrist when you talk to her, but she does have a platform that does try to be progressive.
Right.
So not necessarily a complete loss if she does end up replacing Steve Knight. Jess Phoenix, of course, would be great. I don't know who the other candidate in that race is.
Are you guys getting anything for District 12? I'm not seeing anything yet.
No.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that Nancy Pelosi is gonna go to the general.
Did we already check District 5 with Niels Pass and Jason Kishinev? There is Mike Thompson in the lead with 80.9%.
Oh, jeez.
Niels Pass is 6.2 and Jason Kishinev 3.6.
Oh, my goodness.
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to be...
Although, on the other hand, though, House District number 1, which is Audrey Denny's district, we haven't had her on the show yet, but she's actually in second right now with 1%, with less than 1% reporting, so take this with a grain of salt. But while the Republicans coming in at 62.5%, which, you know, that's the incumbent, Audrey Denny's coming in at 10.8%. So,
this is where we're going to have some races then where we're not going to have this huge slate of people. We're going to, we're going to get some nice choices, Doug LaMalfa and, Audrey Denny. That'd be awesome. Or Jessica Holcomb, who I understand is cool as well.
You really think we're going to get, I hope when you say we're going to get some nice choices, that some of those nice choices are more than Democrats. They're actually like progressive Democrats.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Audrey Denny's cool. So if she comes in second and it's her against Doug LaMalfa, he might eat her for breakfast, but at least we'll have a clear choice, not, a dozen choices. Well, wait, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in their race.
They have quite a few.
How's Andy doing? Oh, they're not coming in yet. Okay.
So no results yet.
I got to just shout out to Iowa and Kathy Glosson.
Yeah.
Because we got friends in Iowa, although they've forgotten about us out there. But we remember you, Iowa. Hi, Iowa. Kathy Glosson is the progressive candidate running for governor, and she was endorsed by Our Revolution, Bernie Sanders endorsement. And what this is saying here, the stat is just basically, this is positive news. So, Brom and all you were complaining about, no positive news. Here it is. I don't know where they're at in this, or who's won or whatever is going on, but it says comparing her vote in the reporting counties so far tonight with the Sanders caucus vote from 2016 shows a very high correlation. She did better in the places where Bernie was stronger 2 years ago. So she's getting a better share of the caucus in Iowa. So we'll see how that goes. Good for her.
Yeah, I was just checking for Pete D'Alessandro, District 3, because we interviewed him. He's in third at this point.
There was a note about him earlier on, and I missed it, about something that had happened there, and I'm not sure what it was. Oh, and here's some sort of... Henry Winkler was one of the persons left off the California voter rolls, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that 120,000 voters only represented about 2.3% of the vote, so whatever. Right? Good. Positive.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gavin back on top for governor.
Freeman, I really like your auto updates. Just dropping slides in there. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mention it, but I didn't know if you actually noticed that.
Yeah. It's like high tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. To me, it's this whole process is so fascinating to see how you generate attention. That's basically what a campaign is are you going to generate enough attention so someone's going to remember your name?
Right.
And you start with such a head start with running with the parties. And then, but it's like that comes with some massive baggage, it seems like, all the time. So watching this whole process is fascinating to me. And it's somewhat depressing, but also it's good to see firsthand.
I mean, it's not necessarily surprising.
Yeah.
Right. Not surprising at all.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of predicted this.
Of course.
And the funny thing is, like, I've been, I argue with people like Sally Albright and whatnot on Twitter.
Oh, gosh, she's
their whole point is that you can't win with progressives. And from their perspective, they're actually correct, because in order to win, you have to fundraise. And in their mind, you can't win going off full on progressive stuff, because then you can't fundraise from the rich people. And they're not willing to say that, but that's actually what they mean. And technically they're right, because it's very difficult to win as a progressive. Like Bernie was the guy that was closest. And it's kind of like a flaw in the system, it seems like. It's like if the people who really want their voice out, those are the ones that are by the very nature of the system not being represented, then your system kind of seems to have problems.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm trying to get people like Sally Albright to acknowledge, or at least her followers to acknowledge. It's like, hey, I get you don't want to vote for the lesser two evils, but don't we have a bigger problem here that we eventually should talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it, sadly.
No.
Or at least not a lot of people in power. So that was a little depressing. We should find some good news.
Oh, there's none yet. I got a question for you guys on, and then Joe, you can get into it. But a question on these California rural areas that are red. You guys know them better than I do. But how do you think after these races, after we see more damage from Trump and co, do you think they're just going to keep going red? Do you think there's going to be a tipping point where they start to shift the other direction? Because there's a lot of areas where you've got rural folks that are voting very conservatively.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of progressives see this is going to be so painful for you guys to hear from me. And I guess your audience is going to eventually figure out that I'm kind of the black sheep of the progressive group here. I don't think progressives view Trump's successes as the same way that a lot of Trump voters do. And we see a lot of negative news about Trump, but they see a lot of things. They're like, you know what? Yes, at least he's trying. And I think Trump is more popular with a lot of people than a lot of progressives are willing to admit.
Oh yeah, well, there's people who would agree with what he's doing. I think it's great, build that wall, and that he does he represents a lot of people. I think it's really scary about this country.
And I think there's a lot of people that associate the most racists among Trump's supporters with why Trump won. And I think that's a mistake, because there's a lot of people I know that they just didn't trust Hillary, or they don't trust government, and they don't really have a choice. That's like, of course they're going to vote for Trump. They'd rather throw a hand grenade into the federal government than give them more power.
Yeah.
And I think that progressives need to understand that. I see too many people just think that Trump is going to lose because it's so bad. And I don't think that's a winning strategy.
Yeah.
There's one important thing, in my opinion, which confirms that Trump is doing right. It's the economy, stupid, and the numbers are great, and this is what the people are wanted to see, and he's succeeding with this. As we don't know how this goes on in the near future with all the tariffs and stuff.
Right.
But at this moment, the numbers are excellent. And this is what confirms everything is okay, what Trump is doing. And all the other shit, what he's doing there with the tweets, with all these stupid things with the NFL and all these crap, it is completely uninteresting,
It's the economy, stupid. You're right. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, a lot of the numbers, I think, look better than the economy actually is, because the economy is not good and capitalism is very unhealthy. But you can't blame that on Trump. It's been unhealthy for a while, and it's been going down the tubes for a while. And Trump is doing some things, some you could agree and some disagree, but there have been some serious effects. And he may be a bully to get them, and he may be, bullying China or doing some weird things with trade. But people, like you said, it's the economy, stupid. And it's like I chat with progressives on my Facebook wall, and people who were just hated Trump in the beginning, they're like, he's racist. I don't know how he could like someone like me, like people with darker skin. And here he is. He's like, you know what? I have a job now, and I didn't have a job for the last 2 years.
Bingo.
And these are progressive people saying this. So I think there's a sad truth that I think progressives have to come to grips with there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think people on this show are certainly willing to. It's like, this show is not the type of show that discourages this type of talk.
No, not at all. I mean, I was one of the people who the Trump's tax cuts in December, my paycheck went up.
Oh, did it?
In January. I make enough money that at my other job, not here, that I was in that bracket that at least this year it'll go up a little bit. I'm probably on the edge of where it will start going down. But yet for me, it was, $150 more in my paycheck. And I was like, what? And I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know that it would take place immediately. And they said, well, that was the tax cuts. I was like, I had no idea it would even affect me.
Well, and it's funny because George Bush did a similar move. I remember back in the day, he gave everyone like $250. I was like, what is this garbage. But
well, Obama did that one year too, didn't he? Like $600 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, these little, yeah, I can't remember, but
silly.
Yeah, so for me as a progressive, I'm like, I've got mixed feelings about that. But on the other hand, who doesn't want a little bit more money in their paycheck? So I could imagine the people who make a lot more than I do, and we're getting a lot more, are like, well, this is okay. This is okay. So.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, hush money, Phil Britton. Yeah, exactly. But it didn't work though. I didn't hush.
Dianne Feinstein now at 42.1%.
Yeah, New York Times called it for her. They were like, she's definitely going through.
Unbelievable.
Which I would call it for her too, honestly.
She couldn't be any less popular right now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yay for democracy.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to be fair, the people who would vote her out aren't going to the polls. So there's definitely that.
We got results from District 2. Where Andy Caffrey, which was our guest, is running. He's at 5.4, and the Republican Dale Mansing is in the leading position right now,
beating Democratic incumbent.
Yeah. Jared Huffman, the incumbent, is second place right now.
And so for counties going for Feinstein, the lead one was Orange County. Remember we were talking about earlier how Orange County in Southern California is so conservative. Yeah. And the next one was Santa Clara County, which is Silicon Valley. And third is Riverside, where you are, Joe.
Yeah, I have a feeling like that's true though. Yeah, I ended up sitting next to like a Republican lady today on the Amtrak, and that was an interesting conversation.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but it's interesting though, because she gets that Trump's ridiculous. So she was like, I voted for Trump, but only because the other person was Hillary. I'm like, okay. And then she went on to tell me all these fun Hillary Clinton like conspiracies, and I was like, I want to get off at the next.
You know what? I'll reveal my black sheepness. I probably believe in a lot of those Hillary conspiracies.
Yeah, I actually do too, a little bit, but then like she sometimes went a little too far for me, where I was like,
Conservatives are frothing at the mouth right now. They've hated Hillary for so long that, oh my God, they chant lock her up, and there's some passion behind that.
Mm-hmm. Well, my son-in-law is actually a Republican and voted for Trump, and the one thing that bonds us together is our mutual loathing of Hillary Clinton. This we can agree on. So that's our common ground upon which we dwell. And he's of course much more moderate than Trump, and he sees kind of both. He sees the mess on all sides of the aisle in terms of the elite and the establishment being without party. They're just all one big. They're one big.
By the way. I updated that slide. There's in District California 50, that's Duncan Hunter, and the challenger was Amar Kempa Najjar.
Okay.
He's getting his ass whooped. That's what's going on right there.
Oh, wow.
I'll move this guy out of the way for a little bit. So you can see here, he's just getting taken over.
I tried to get Najjar to email with his people several times.
I got to admit, I wasn't a fan. Like
really?
It's like I went and met all the candidates, and if I give someone a genuine smile and I look them in the eye and I shake their hand, and they just give me this weird look back, it's like I'm not a big guy. You shouldn't be intimidated by me. If I'm smiling, you shouldn't be scared of me. And that was my first impression with him.
Wow, interesting.
Anyway, and then I also put a screenshot of it. Looks like Feinstein did win decisively over Bradley.
But Bradley is Bradley is the one he's going to be against her in the general.
Oh right, yeah.
He's top two.
Oh, that's right. And DeLeon, I don't even know who that is. Of course,
Kevin DeLeon. Yeah, he was the what people were saying. Oh, that nice, more progressive one, which he wasn't.
Yeah, some progressives decided to vote for him over any of the actual corporate free people because he's like, oh, I'm for Medicare for all and all that. And they're like, oh, he's the only winnable candidate. He's the
only one in striking distance. So
he's the only one, who's taking corporate money and doing that. So
Allison, so David Hildebrand, unfortunately,
not doing very well.
It's not.
No.
I'm looking at results for a lot of things, you guys, and if you're looking at the 538 live blog, you're probably very sad. And I just want to say this: there's going to be two things we're going to hear. One is that, the Democrats blew it, and 2 is that the progressives blew it for the Democrats and split the votes, because you can see a lot of places where votes are getting split. It's also really scary that I'm seeing a lot of places that are going Republican, like the Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, 35%, but there's a Republican who got the second slot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the cost of having jungle primaries, though. Like, even if the majority of the people voting aren't for the Republican, if they're splitting all the votes all the way through, then the Republican, even if they get like 20%, they still are able to come in to the second spot and go to the general and potentially win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Democrats have a pretty toxic brand right now. Unless you really stand out, you're gonna, I mean, sorry to say it, you're gonna kind of look corrupt. Like if you're not calling out the election fraud in your own party, it's like, I can see why people have a tough time voting for that.
Well, okay, but can I so yeah, I agree with you there, but are you kidding me? We've got a Republican Party that's sponsoring pedophiles, rapists, racists. And we've got people in California voting for the Republican Party. I mean, I guess I should say, well, I'm glad they're looking at each individual, but on the other hand, are you kidding me? We got some sick people.
The pedophile thing I don't get. That's just, that's nuts.
And I'm not saying there are pedophiles running in California. I'm just saying that, they're running under the R. Yeah. And I don't understand how anybody could look at an R these days and be like, oh, yeah, proud to be an R.
Yeah, I feel that way about both parties. But I guess I've got pretty...
Yes, agreed.
I've been like, there's a picture of me on Facebook from 2004 wearing a shirt that says, Bush and Kerry make me want a Ralph. And I'm shaking Ralph Nader's hand. So it's like, I've been on the anti-democratic bandwagon for a while. It's like I've never had faith that if rich people are supporting you, that they're going to look out for the poor. Like it just doesn't make sense. If you have $1 billion and you are not actively making the community around you better, then it's not that I question you as a person, but I'm questioning what your motives are. Like $1 billion should be enough for you to live, for you to actually want to make the world immediately around you better. Like there should be no one homeless and hungry if you have $1 billion in a few mile radius. But it's like a lot of these people, once they get a first billion, like the Chargers owner, Dean Spanos, he said, I'm 80 years old. I just earned my first billion and I want to earn another billion before I die. I'm like, what do you need this money for? This is weird. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at with the parties. Like you can't expect the people who are giving them all this money to be okay with them losing power. They're giving them money because they want to keep the power.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So some updates on some things here really quick. And I agree with you 100% there. CA10, there's people freaking out that it's going to be a lockout because there's too many Dems running and it's strongly Democratic. But apparently the district that is majorly Democratic hasn't even reported in. So everybody just needs to chill their pants. Yeah. All right. And no, you cannot do if you lost in the primary in California, you cannot do a write-in attempt.
Yeah. They're serious with that. Top 2 only. They don't even have a spot where you can write somebody in.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a writing candidate and get through into the general just as a writing candidate. I think that's what Kenneth Mejia did.
But not at the general, though.
No. I think that's what Kenneth Mejia did. Didn't
they were
2016?
Okay.
God, still nothing from District 12. Not a bit.
No.
Almost everything around them is.
I mean, if it makes anyone feel better, we got the semi-progressive Ro Khanna. It looks like he's going to be keeping his seat. I mean,
yeah. I didn't even realize he was running again.
Semi-progressive.
I was going to say you nailed it with the semi-progressive.
Yeah. He passes for progressive.
I mean, he's better than the usual Dems, which is not a high bar.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't realize that he was running again this year.
Well, I mean, he's a congressman, so he has to run every 2 years. Yeah,
right. Every 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for being here. Still have 60 people watching live right now.
Wow.
Yeah, let's all be depressed together.
I know. Well, we got really good at this during 2016.
I'm not depressed.
Yes.
Every time.
I'm not either. We did not. What did we really expect? This was our practice.
Yeah, that's true.
No losing races. Everybody gets experience.
I was honestly wondering though with Danielle's race, because she was the only green on the ballot.
Yeah.
And I don't have a good feel for where everyone is at and whatnot, because like I'm in my own political bubble and I've been watching this stuff forever. I thought there was honestly a good shot that there was going to be enough angst against the Democrats and enough angst against the Republicans that people would vote for Libertarian and Green, at least more than they have been. And Danielle mentioned that I think a lot of these are like the establishment voters that are coming in early, but it's still a pretty big mountain to overcome. And it's like I wasn't sure what to expect, but I thought there would be a little more anti-government angst than there is.
Can I be honest with all the Greens?
Please.
I love you. I voted for Joe Stein in 2016.
Me too.
Okay, just because the party platform, outstanding. It's a great platform.
Yep.
That's what it should be.
Yep.
Okay, your optics blow. You have no clue how to run campaigns. You have no clue how to run party. And until you guys get that shit together, you can talk all you want and talk, and you're never going to get the votes you need to win. Because you don't organize and run like the big boy. You got to learn how to do it like the big campaigns. Talk doesn't work, and unless you're putting it on TV, on network TV, and paying a lot of money for that talk, then it works.
Right. And you're so right, John. Because we had a few meetings with the Greens, with Danielle running, and I was just blown away at how inefficient. Not even just inefficient. It's just like everything was a roadblock with them.
Right.
It was the weirdest experience. I'm like, do you guys want to solve problems or not? And like you said, until they figure out how to run a party, they're not going anywhere. And I could see why, at least in San Diego, they didn't help out Danielle at all. Like literally nothing other than the name.
Right.
So I get it.
I mean, I would love to see the Green Party, really rally and do what it needs to do, but there's infighting. And look, the Republicans, for as much as I hate them, they seem to know how to, when they're like, we're going to win, they all get together and they stick together, and it doesn't, I mean, look at it. Guy says, I'm running, I'm a Republican. They're like, well, you're a pedophile. Yeah, but I'm a Republican. All right, we're with you. Right? I'm a rapist. We're with you. Right?
You know what? I might, if I run again, I might run as a Republican. Why not?
The thing is, you have to be willing to lower your moral standards to the point where they're like, okay, you're with us.
I'd still run with my same platform, but I kind of do it Sam Ronan style. He's like, well, I'm running with this, but in your party.
And that worked so well for him.
It did not work well, did it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you live in California, though, so it might make more sense to go the independent route, honestly, because of just, like, depending on which district you run in, like, it's a little different, but...
Yeah, I think San Diego's a pretty conservative... light town. Like they're sort of conservative, but they're not really progressive. We're kind of in the middle, and there's a lot of military here. But at the end of the day, a lot of people just have better things to do than pay attention to politics. Yeah. And they are only voting out of obligation because someone has probably guilted them out to it. And the only people excited about voting for Democrats and Republicans are the diehard party people. Yeah. And so it's hard to get in touch with the people who aren't diehard party people, but have been guilted into voting. So they're just going to vote for one of the lesser two evils. It's a weird game. And I don't quite know how we get around it yet, but I think that's the problem we have to be talking about.
Yeah. And the thing with the Green Party, though, is that, like, yeah, they don't have structure. They have a lot of problems. They don't really know how to run campaigns. But on the other hand, it's not like they learn how to run them badly like the Democrats have. There's still pretty much a clean slate. There's a lot of potential there. It's fertile ground. If we are actually able to get our shit together, basically, there, we might actually be able to get a viable third party, as people like to say, going. It's just, it's up to them, really. As to how that goes.
I'm toying with the idea of trying to somehow unite the Greens and the Libertarians, at least not necessarily in party, but in principle. And that was kind of one of the things that the cooperative economy thing that I was pushing would advocate for, because it has the markets that Libertarians love, but then it also kind of has the community focus, which Greens love. But as you can imagine, getting those two groups to talk to each other, let alone agree on a common platform, wasn't something I was going to be able to do last year. But that was kind of a thought. Mm-hmm. For me, though, I'm just sick of waiting. Like, because all this talk about creating new parties and doing things, that's years away before that actually gets done. And I feel like we don't have that much more time to wait. Like we can't just let things continue to get worse for this long.
So Brahm in the audience is saying real quick that that's why he's with the Green Party, is to help them get their shit together. That's paraphrasing.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
And meanwhile, I got news from the lieutenant governor. It's not funny.
Yes.
Eleni Kounalakis took over the lead. The woman who is going to buy the office. I can say it quite frankly. She's on number one right now.
Wow.
And Gayle is 2.6%.
Oh.
I have your silver lining right here, everybody. Just wait. Here it is. Not to spoil everyone's election night takes, but California always has a boatload of disproportionately Democratic late mail-in votes that don't get counted for days.
Indeed.
And I remember that last time.
It all.
They better have a lot of them.
And I remember that last time.
Yeah.
And a bunch of numbers changed. We were like, what the fuck?
But not the Bernie numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet Bernie.
Yeah, by the way, did they ever finish the counting of the votes for 2016 in California?
I don't think so. I think they're
I
still
don't think
doing
so
it.
either.
Okay, I hope they can finish this one. You know?
Well, that's one thing that Danielle had that slide that we didn't use about the Vu. What was his name?
Michael Vu.
Michael Vu, tell me, do you know what did he get convicted of after 2016? Mishandling the election?
It was effectively election fraud. I don't know which one was which. I don't think he was convicted in Ohio. I think he was reprimanded or something.
Yeah.
But in San Diego, he was convicted. I saw the announcement live on Facebook where they said, okay, here's the conviction that they were guilty of, I think it was election fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And the punishment was $0. And that was what happened in 2016 in San Diego. And interestingly, I went to the Unrig the System I think it was in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this little area where it's like upcoming politicians. So like try and strut your stuff and get on stage. So I did that. And some guy heard that I was from San Diego. And so he asked me about this election fraud and Michael Vu. And so I told him the stuff that I just told you.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out he was the lawyer on that case. And he was just asking me a question about his case to see if I knew about it, because I said I was from San Diego. And later on, he's like, I'm surprised you knew about that. And it just turns out that I'd seen it live on Facebook. So that's what Michael Vu, it's like, I'm not saying that he did anything wrong here, but it's like.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't. Okay. It was in Ohio. Okay. I just found the slide that I made for Danielle. I committed election fraud in Ohio and then transferred with a pay raise to San Diego, where I was convicted of election fraud again in 2016.
Sounds right.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think I remember right after there was something about a shredding truck or something in front of Michael Vu's offices or something like that, where they were destroying all the boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of ballots that were sitting around waiting to be counted that ended up getting shredded instead.
Thank you, EGAD's Bob, for that.
I don't know if we want to put this slide up, but for my race in 52, the write-ins are at 11% or 0.11%. And I think one of them is my shit sandwich.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to try.
Oh, they don't list them out. They just have write-ins all lumped together.
Oh, yeah. No, they didn't actually list shit sandwich, but the fact that there's some write-in votes, I'm going to pretend that one of those is mine.
Okay, you can.
What slide are we talking about?
Slide 3.
Oh, it's still slide 3. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Here we go, everybody. There's the updated graphics.
Sorry.
Real time, everybody. There you go.
Yeah.
Here, I want to show you this quote, actually. I was just going to pull this up. This quote about Republican candidates. Judging from the GOP candidates I've heard interviewed tonight, this isn't the point where Republicans finally turn on Trump either. So you want to know where Republicans are standing in general with Trump and his policies. So shame on you, California, voting for your Republican people. All right? Just going to go there.
Right. Well, don't blame me. I voted for my shit sandwich, and I got that.
All right.
Yeah.
Here, we go back to your slide. There it is. Lovely.
I can't believe Eleni Kounalakis. Oh my goodness.
If you tried that 15, 16 years ago, people would freak out and say you're not taking democracy seriously. And now I post that on Facebook and not a person said anything negative about it.
Yeah.
Should have done the South Park reference. See, so Brian Kim He was in the 53rd district running as an independent. He was a Bernie guy. He's getting 2% of the vote.
We interviewed him.
Yeah, and the incumbent was 60% of the vote.
Which district was that?
53rd. So Susan Davis. You want me to update slide 3?
No, I'm looking at a website. I can just scroll down.
Gotcha.
And still nothing from District 12. This is
I know.
nothing,
it's like
nothing. Yeah.
What's going on up there, San Francisco?
But I see in the end we will see the same thingies we saw before, that the progressive vote is split and Nancy Pelosi. I think we will see the same thing we saw for the Senate race with Dianne Feinstein happening in District 12.
Well, the question will be, who will come in second? That's really what we're looking at.
Yeah, but in the end, does it matter in the end? Nancy Pelosi, if she gets 40% or more, just like Feinstein for the Senate, then I don't know. I don't know what
Nancy Pelosi against one candidate in the general is going to be a different story than Nancy Pelosi against six.
This is what I think is questionable, but I don't know.
I feel like Nancy Pelosi isn't really conscious a human being anymore. I think there's like an automated shell running.
You could say that about our federal government.
Yeah.
That's getting too dark. I'm just going for one person. I see her answer questions, and she still sometimes thinks Obama's president. And I'm like, this isn't just one slip up anymore.
Right.
A couple of months ago, she was campaigning for a candidate, and she was explaining what she was doing for single payer.
Right.
And, her plans, and she was completely uninformed. You could feel it. It was cringeworthy to see her on stage, not knowing what she was talking about at all.
It's painful. It's like I almost feel bad, even though they're raping the planet. I still kind of feel bad for them, just as a human being struggling and not being able to answer basic questions.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I was looking on 538. They had posted Dianne Feinstein's.
Brahms, Pelosi and Feinstein have both been dead for a very long time.
Somebody was asking about Assembly District 63.
Anthony Randone's going to get that one.
Yeah. So Californians, the next time you complain about why you don't have health care, it's because you voted for this guy. Okay?
Yeah. So Randone's coming in, back in.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know who's
to be fair, like a lot of this is just 12% reporting, and that 12% can just be one vote from each place. So we kind of had got to wait for the results to completely come in before we can make full judgments here, but it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Well, which is expected. So,
Well, so gentlemen, should we take the 15 more minutes, go to 9:30 and see what's there? I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, like we're just gonna keep on updating, and then it's just gonna be like, okay, well, this person's up, because Audrey Denny's back to like being second place, but then as soon as more votes come in, that's probably gonna waver again. So we could follow that, I guess, or we could do something else. I don't know what else we could do, but I could juggle.
Could you really?
So somebody's talking about a Republican who could end up splitting the vote in some district, and I just want to show you guys the website here, because it is interesting in that it's basically puppies and football, and apparently it's effective. So Green Party folks, I just want you to take note. Here's what you need to do. Okay.
Get a dog.
Ted Howes, make sure you've got American flag. It makes red, white, and blue, no other colors. So I know you're the Green Party, but no one gives a shit about seeing the color green on your website. They want to see patriotism up the ass, red, white, and blue. Okay, pictures of him and his lovely wife.
What district is he running in? Or
there's his puppies. There's the puppies.
Oh, you need them.
There.
Yeah.
They're full puppies.
Aww.
See, hi, I'm a Republican. Look, football, puppies, America. And he's getting votes, apparently. He's getting votes.
What district is this?
I have no idea. It was an earlier block. I don't know. Somewhere in California.
Yeah, and what that shows is if you're willing to be good at marketing, then you will be the next person to be able to be bribed in the federal government.
Another message to all of the larger organizations out there that didn't really spend any money on actual marketing or think about that. That's a problem. Optics again. We're here. Yeah. We're here to help.
So I'm not following many assembly races. It'll be interesting to see if the smaller races have a different result, because that's true where we saw a lot in the special election in November. That's really more where we saw the progressive victories coming into city councils and state assembly.
Nice. Puppies football good, fire bad, Metalhead.
It's interesting that the precincts, like in the website that I'm looking at for San Diego, they started with 15% turnout. That was a while ago, and it really hasn't changed much. Like that's an interest. Like it's not incrementing in. So it seems like that 15% batch could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So just to take it away from looking at, semi-depressive news and the fact that it's mostly incomplete data, which is, so just think about it. We can get all upset, and then tomorrow could be a whole new set of news.
Yeah.
I want to know from everybody in the audience, just take a quick take here. Where do we go from here? Forget wins and losses. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to do here to move forward in California? I'm just curious, and you guys should answer that. What's next?
I like Oz's answer. I'm going to go practice cyclic vomiting.
For people who don't know me, I guess I'm the dark sheep of the group, and I don't have faith that these problems can be solved in government and political parties. Just because the way I've seen progressives respond and conservatives respond, I think that the solution is that they have to come together, and they have to realize that progressives have half the story right, that they have the heart, and conservatives have half the story right, not that they have the brains and we don't, but there is a structure that conservatives value that I think we need, and progressives keep getting screwed because at the end of the day, we're like, well, we just got to try, and we'll just go for hope. And conservatives don't operate that way. And I think that we both, in the most ironic way, we need each other. It's the yin and yang of it all. And I think that's honestly the path forward. Because if we keep trying this two-party system where it's the push-pull left and right, you're either going to get an extreme on one end, because things are going to continue to get worse. You're either going to get communism if the left wins, or you're going to get Nazism if the right wins. And neither of those are solutions that I think are acceptable. So unfortunately, I think that's where we need to go. We need to start talking to not the centrist conservatives, but moderate conservatives and people who are willing to stand up and have a good conversation. And I see a lot of that on Twitter, like people like with Caitlin Johnston. I don't know if you guys follow her, but there's a lot of people that are kind of in that boat. They're like the ex-Bernie people who are sick of it and looking for other solutions.
I see her tweets every once in a while. I'm really not sure where she stands on things other than to talk a lot about the deep state and stuff.
Well, that's actually one of the things that I thought was interesting with your show and me on it, because I'm kind of in line with a lot of that deep state stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned it to you, John, earlier. I'm like, did you guys talk about the QA stuff? And you're like, oh, no, we don't. And it was, to me, I was like, oh, that's interesting, because that's like a whole world going on, the whole QAnon stuff. Yeah. And that's a big reason why people are fans of Trump, not because of anything that he's done, but because of the things that they think he's fighting. And we actually don't know if he's fighting them or not. We don't know if Hillary's as corrupt as he says. I think she is, and I think the DNC is, but we don't know because we don't have any of the actual data. And that's to me is a whole new world, the whole QAnon stuff. And I think Caitlin Johnston and a lot of others are involved in that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Wesley Clark, I'm sure you guys know him. So Wesley Clark Jr. went to DAPL. Mm-hmm. And so he and I have gone back and forth on Twitter a little bit sometimes. And he's of the mindset that Trump is evil and the DNC isn't as corrupt. And I'm like, no, the DNC and Mueller are amazingly corrupt and they're covering up something massive. So there's this big disagreement.
Hey, everybody, David Hildebrand just dropped in, and that's a...
Yeah, sweet. Drop in. He's going to give us a little report from the party.
Yeah.
Give me a second here, David.
Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hey, David, there you are.
Hey, David.
How are you?
Hey, we're in San Francisco with Jaffe and then a local candidate for Assembly, David Ernst. He's down there with his crowd.
Awesome.
So we got a nice little group here. Obviously, the election results are coming really slow. So we don't have really any news right now. Everything looks bad across the state except for maybe James Elliott down in San Diego. So we're just watching them now, but it's like 2 to 3% of the votes in, so we can't really say anything yet. So Susan and Stephen are over here.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey.
Yes.
Everyone's here.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah, we're just hanging out, watching the results, and obviously not getting much anything right now, but it unfortunately isn't looking good for progressives. It's kind of looking like, sorry, I'm trying to center here. Nobody came out. Well, that's another problem is low turnout. There's really bad turnout for this election, which we knew, but we were hoping progressives would come out in force and take advantage of the general low turnout, and it doesn't look like they're doing it. So even with the consolidated progressive vote, it looks like we would have lost to the Republican because of turnout. So at the end of the day, that's what it's looking like at this point. I mean, tomorrow morning could be a whole different story, so we don't know.
Yeah. Are you seeing any results at all for District 12 in anything that we haven't seen one, not a peep?
Stephen, what does District 12 look like?
Right now, it's Pelosi and the Republicans.
So right now, Pelosi and the Republican are top 2.
District 12 right now.
Are you serious? So Pelosi and Remmer?
A Republican in San Francisco is in second place currently with like 2%, I think, reporting.
Wow.
So David, we should just chill, right? Because we got a long time to go for some real numbers.
Even a percentage, actually.
Yeah.
So not looking good so far for progressives, but we're going to fight on tomorrow no matter what happens. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for reporting in. Any other news that you heard today about any other races or anything that you want to tell us about?
I don't have much good news, unfortunately. It looks like top 2 for U.S. Senate and for governor might be Republican involved.
Yeah.
It might not be the case for U.S. Senate. We might have De Leon and Feinstein, which is kind of like the 2 news favorites that they reported on anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that a Republican could come in second there, too. But the governor's race really looks like it's going to be Newsom and Cox.
Yeah.
So it's
what's looking like here.
Interesting night, and like I told people about a month ago, I think a lot of people are going to be frustrated tonight. A lot of people are going to be surprised.
Yeah.
You think
thank you for reporting in, my dear.
Thank you.
So if there's any news, I'll report in later. But I think this place closes at 10, so we'll all be leaving at 10. And I think final results are probably going to be in the morning, if not tonight. So
yeah, we're not gonna last a whole lot longer here ourselves.
Yeah. Well, thanks for holding the show and keep reporting.
Absolutely.
Thank you for running.
Thanks, man. Thank you, David.
Have a good one.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
It sounds like more of the same, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope that progressives have an awakening and a coming together.
I just got populated for District 12 big time.
Whoa.
D12.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, 60.9.4. Lisa Remmer, the Republican, 12.5. Stephen Jaffe, third. No, wait. Yeah, Stephen Jaffe, 5.5. Shahid, 5.1.
Oh, Shahid, he's my boy.
Yeah.
That guy would have rocked.
We interviewed Stephen, Shahid, and Ryan, all 3 of them.
Ryan also was
Ryan pull?
Ryan 3.8, yeah.
I updated slide 3.
Thank you, real-time graphics.
Slide master. Oh my gosh.
This is horrible. 69.4.
That's insane.
She's a zombie.
Who are you people?
Okay, this is less than 1% reporting, you guys. So keep that in.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So this could be like 7 votes or something like that. Like, it doesn't show the amount of votes when it says percentage.
No, it does. It actually does. Nancy has gotten 44,000.
Yeah, but like when you see the percentage, like 1% of people are like, oh, it's only 1%. No, it's that 1% is referring to the districts. That's what I was referring to.
Okay.
Because there's like, I think some people like get that confused and are like, oh, well, 15% of the votes are, no,
yeah,
it's
1%.
50% of them are reporting.
9 precincts. Gotcha. So no complete precincts yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't mean to be showing the chat there. I was distracted by a message from Larry. I just want to give a shout out to Density McCartney real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis doesn't donate through our normal, I don't even know what the hell it's called, our Action Network. He donates another way, and Dennis has been donating as a recurring donation every month for I don't know how long. It's got to be more than a year, maybe 2 years. Thank you, Dennis, for your most generous donation this month. Very much.
Thank you very much.
Love you.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
And to everybody else that has donated and continued, we see that, and I try not to bother you with newsletter stuff, but I'm working on another one. So, but thank you for all your donations. All right.
Well, folks.
Yeah.
That's what I was really kind of waiting to see if we had something to report for District 12, to see if there is.
Do we want to take a 15-minute break and come back to District 12 and see if we had anything else? Or are we good?
I don't know. Maybe we could play
we could play a song.
Yeah.
All right, light them if you got them. I'll pick a song here.
Okay.
Hang on.
Play a song.
Right. Death grips would be fitting.
Even the losers get lucky sometimes.
I see footage.
Okay, well, you guys gonna have to talk for a few minutes because I actually lost the playlist, Marcus.
Oh, right. Do they need it again? All right. Well, it's really depressing to see the numbers.
I think it's depressing that people would actually still vote Pelosi, given how bad things are.
Yeah.
And given how bad Pelosi is. Like that one, to me, like you would vote for a potato over her because I'm not like trying to make fun, but it's like she's like a shell of a human. And I'm just like, there's nothing there. How could you be okay with it? Doesn't make sense. But it's like people they're just working. They're not listening to politics. They're just like, oh, well, I know her. They probably don't even know anything about Shawhead or anything about any of the
Yeah, that's a problem. And what is really worrying me is what David says about the low voter turnout.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I cannot get. I cannot get this in the age of Trumpism and orange stupidity. I can't get this.
Well, they have nothing to vote for.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like this election, for California anyway, the primary voter turnout is going to be close to the 2014 election turnout, which was also really low. So,
I'm sorry if I'm a progressive. I'm progressive interested. I at least I know one candidate, and I can't get this. There's a low voter turnout.
Yeah.
How many of these voters do you think voted for Pelosi because that's who they saw on media and they had no clue who these other people were?
That's when they were looking at their ballots. That's whose name they recognized.
Right. Yep. And whatever narrative they're getting out of MSM isn't dissing Pelosi. I mean,
no,
it is clear.
Danielle creaked up. She's now at 0.4% instead of 0.3%.
Yay, Danielle!
Yeah.
Anybody going after Trump these days, even old Republicans are heroes, right? So.
Yeah.
All right, I got a tune. You guys want to do a tune?
Do a tune.
All right, this is TNGHT, Higher Ground. I have no idea. Thank you, Marcus. We'll put the tweets on. Here. I've got the tweets on.
Got the tweets on.
I'm just going to stop that song there.
Thank you.
That was enough of that. And Marcus, you have some very amazing choices. Oh, you're muted, Marcus. That's, very interesting choices, and I absolutely hated that
one. I'm glad that he said I suggested to play Death Grips, but he didn't. Please listen. This was one of the songs you wanted, you know. The modern songs.
Oh God, no.
That was like hell. That's like a personal hell there.
Okay.
As a musician, to hear that, that's anyway.
Yeah, I was wondering where we were gonna go with that. I was like, so we're just gonna have this like repeating for like the next 10 minutes, like.
Well, it's fitting, right?
Okay. Is there any requests from chat on the song that we want to play? Mm-hmm. Play some Toto, Steve says. Toto.
I updated slide 3 with what's going on my Twitter feed, by the way.
Okay.
That's more of like the QAnon stuff that I lived through, in case anyone's curious. You can watch that while you play Toto.
Senate releases 5 pages of this soap page.
The Starzak and Page. So those are the 2 FBI lovers that were.
Yeah. They released more of theirs?
Oh, that's the thing. It's like it's like if you follow the QAnon right-wing nut jobs,
yeah,
there's a whole story going on. It's like this stuff has been released, but then it gets held up in committee, and like there's all these testimonies, and it keeps getting delayed. It's just this crazy long drama. But these 2, basically, I mean, it shows collusion and it shows corruption in the government. It shows that they're going after Trump. It's just
it seems to me they're always saying, "Oh my God, and this is going to happen tomorrow, and oh my God, it's going to be terrible," and people are getting popcorn. People must be so sick of popcorn by now, and it's like, you know, I want it to result in something and not getting tangled up in the web of something else that's holding it back.
Yeah, I'm with you, and it's super like it seems like a lot of times they're giving you little crumbs, and you think it's something. But at the end of the day, no one's really testifying on TV in front of Congress that we've seen. And so until that happens, it all kind of seems like it's fluff. But there's still been enough reporting where I feel like there's things going on, but it's still speculation at this point. And there's nothing solid where multiple sides can come together. Like all sides seem like they still are frustrated at each other and think the other side's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no using the Zoom chat, everybody. That's a no-no.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, no using the Zoom chat?
Nope. Yeah. Let's always use the live production chat in Slack.
That was my fault.
That's all right. Thank you.
We had a request for Makana. Where do the children play? Oh, that Cat Stevens song.
So we're not doing Africa?
So here's the problem. So we weren't looking for song requests. Should we look for song requests?
Turn into a DJ.
We can't really do that because we have to check them with YouTube. So Marcus spends a lot of time doing that.
That's
songs
right.
with YouTube.
What about that song from last night that we tried to play but couldn't?
No.
I listened to like 5 times today, but okay.
That put us to sleep. Well, we can do what was that other Makana song besides "The Fire Is Ours" that we liked?
We could do "If I Had a Rocket Launcher." This would be also
I
fitting
want
for
that
the
one.
day.
That's what I want. I want that version. I want that song.
Oh, hold on. I'll look it up for you.
You know what I want. You know what I want. Give me that song.
I know. Hold on.
You're doing Rocket Launcher or Makana?
No, Rocket Launcher.
Okay.
Music around here is a little bit sacred. So I'm
yeah.
Tell you guys, if you want to get involved with how we do things and choosing music and even creating your own shows, info@uphillmedia.org, join the volunteer group, because that's what we do. And the people that work really hard behind the scenes here to put these shows together are doing things that no other independent media group does. And you know, it's something you should be involved in. We need to up the game on media for all of our candidates, for all of our organizations, and that means having people involved. And you guys know this because you've been around here a long time, but we've also got a lot of new folks that are watching this, or maybe folks that haven't watched in a long time. We're not stopping. This organization will continue to go as we head towards 2020 because it's about survival. So we'd love to expand. We'd love to expand shows into other states. And we'd love to have you join us. So, yeah.
Okay, I got the link in line 51 in the rundown.
All right, I'll grab that. Thank you, Expanding Electrons.
Geez,
thank you.
Nice.
We will. Anybody who's making song suggestions here, this is awesome. We will make note of them and add them to our library, and play them in future.
Absolutely. That's
Well, Randy, I know what you want to mean. The other Makana song, and I can't remember what the name of it is. But
it's the one he did for Obama, right?
The Occupy one.
And then he did another one. He did. There's 3. He did another one after the Bernie song, and I don't know which one that one is. No, but that was about superdelegate blues or something. That was pretty good. Tom Perez will definitely fry, says Metal. I hope. It's. You know, Freeman, before we play the song, I just want to address something you said. You want to talk about why we don't talk about dark money, right? And,
okay.
And or not dark money, but your deep state and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I don't go there, one, is because Caitlin Johnstone was hanging out with H.A. Goodman, and I'm not a fan of H.A. Goodman. I think the guy took the progressive movement and turned it into sensationalism journalism.
He put the progressive movement in all caps.
Yes.
Yeah, he still does all the time.
And clickbait.
Yeah. So
like Hillary Clinton's about to be every
fucking day.
Breaking.
UPS, FedEx, I don't know.
Yeah, breaking. Yeah. So
breaking.
But the other reason is this: what difference does it make? You talk about the deep state till you're blue in the face, and there's this, and there's secret this, and secret this, and secret this. Oh, good God. None of it fucking matters if you don't have control of the apparatus. Oh my gosh, and they're spraying the sky. Doesn't fucking matter if you don't have control over the apparatus. So I'd rather spend my time talking about how to control the apparatus than the shit the apparatus is doing that we're like, that's even scarier than our own government. I don't want to know about that stuff, Freeman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I guess the the alternative to that would be is knowing how bad the apparatus is.
I know enough. That it needs to be replaced. But yeah. I get you.
I that's where a lot of them, that's why they don't believe in democracy and stuff like that, or don't believe that the system is working, that needs to be changed that much because of the stuff they're seeing in the deep state. But
sure.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, it gets down to priorities. Like different people have different.
I can't. It's too depressing. I can't. I'm like, I can't take it. It's enough to know. We got 45's enough. Deep states, Anyway, here's the song. This is, I guess we'll play this, come back and rap, which right. This is chilling. When you guys think about the results, whatever they are right now, tomorrow we'll have other results. They may even be better than what we're looking at now, but don't count on it. Right? Don't count on it. Count on it to be shitty. Be mad. Know that we have to do more. That the war that we're waging, especially in California, is a hard one. Because we're fighting a whole bunch of look-alike candidates. And we're fighting a whole bunch of money. Big Dem money that's been there a long time. Really old folk money that just wants to hang out and keep doing its thing. Right? California is a really, really difficult war. And in the same time, we have ICE doing its thing. We have our government murdering citizens, Puerto Ricans, 4,600 Puerto Ricans dead. While MSM talks about Roseanne fucking Barr. Right? we got a lot of things to be enraged about, seriously enraged. And at times you've heard me say, I don't know what else to do. If I had a rocket launcher, I'd use it. And that's the conundrum when you talk about we need money to get money out of politics, or we need to use violence to stop the violence, right? Fucking for peace or for virginity. It's that messed up, right? This is a guy named Carl Reed who died actually a while back from a brain tumor. He does a very, very intense version of If I Had a Rocket Launcher. So here it is. Be enraged, because we have a lot of work to do.
Rocket Launcher by Bruce Cagle. Learned this when I was in Australia. Of a guy called Davey Love. Here comes a helicopter. For second time today. Everybody scatters. Hopes it goes away. How many kids they murdered? Only God can say. If I had a rocket launcher. If I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, I'd make somebody pay. I don't believe in bodyguards, and I don't believe in hate. And I don't believe in generals or their stinking torture states. When I talk with the survivors of things too sickening to relate, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, I would not hesitate. On the Rio Centen, 100,000 wait to fall down from starvation. Some less humane fate. Cry for Guatemala with a corpse in every skate. If I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, I would retaliate. Gonna raise every voice, well at least I've got to try. Every time I think about it, water rises to my eyes. Well, situation's desperate, echoes of the victims cry. If I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, some son of a bitch would die. Some son of a bitch would die. Some son of a bitch would die.
I like that better every time I hear it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. I did find the Makana song. It's that We Are the Many song. So maybe we can go out with that at the very end.
Now you got to find it for me.
I do. It's line 52.
Well, thank you. I'll grab it.
Yeah.
So
do we want to do a quick scan of the races to see what's happened, and then wrap up?
No, sure. I guess. I mean,
still
kind of similar.
Well, Kevin DeLeon is now second, or maybe he was.
Yay!
Yeah.
Gavin and John Cox.
Oh, but those numbers are going to continue switching around. I think for a while.
No doubt. 12.
Oh, but I do want to say that California's 34th district, I believe, with Kenneth Mejia. I mean, it's only 1% reporting, but as of right now, Kenneth Mejia comes in second, although the number of votes Jimmy Gomez is getting versus Kenneth Mejia's is a little disturbing because Jimmy Gomez is at 77.2%, while Kenneth Mejia is at 11.8%.
Right. He's only 100 above the Libertarian. Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it does look like Kenneth Mejia will end up in the top 2. I mean, it's still a little
that would be
early to say
great
for sure, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like
do we have any numbers for Maria Estrada in State Assembly 63?
I think they might have called that for Anthony
Rendon pretty much nailed it. More than 45%.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You guys in the chat talking about your different bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
Love and peace from Iowa too. I said thank you. Brom, interesting. We'll have to talk about it in another Zoom. Don't get discouraged, everybody. The struggle continues, right?
Oh yeah.
There's an update for governor. Did you guys do that at all?
What?
I put it on slide 3.
Hi, Katie. Good night, Katie.
Night, Katie.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm pulling up our instant graphic moment.
So
and this is the good thingy for me, you know. You guys go now to bed and sleep and have a nightmare about this fucking primary, you know, and I go to work and have to concentrate on different things.
Oh, John Cox took over the lead from Gavin Newsom.
That's super close.
But
okay.
Well, then they're both so far ahead of Villaraigosa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Cox the Republican?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cox is a Republican.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Wow.
So,
Gayle is getting slaughtered for governor.
For lieutenant governor.
Oh no.
Well, right now, remember we have all those late votes, Dem votes.
Well,
what are the numbers?
Here, I'll update slide 3.
But with the governor race, Gavin Newsom's got that one locked up pretty much. It's who comes in second, and I think the Democrats' is worst scenario really with John Cox's coming true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So Eleni's now at least she's second.
Yeah.
Oh, Cole Harris.
I got a Feinstein update if we want that one.
Okay, I got Eleni Kounalakis in the New York Times still in front.
Yeah. I mean, these things got updated.
Yeah, these are going to bounce back and forth.
Looks like 10 million works.
Yeah.
You guys sound like a bunch of doctors around a terminal patient right now.
That's basically what happened, though. Yeah. We're around California going,
I see in the chat room, California is failing. It's not entirely untrue.
No, California I think California has always been a hell of a lot more difficult than everybody expected it to be because its version of liberal is blue dog dem liberal, and they think it's fine, and so there's a lot of confusion there. And you guys got a lot to work on.
And it's hard to tell in other cities, but certainly in San Diego, I don't see as much of the social angst, and maybe a lot of the things that would rhyme true for Democrats wouldn't rhyme in or ring true in a lot of California because things are different here.
Yeah,
just guessing. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of different stats and surveys about that.
Yeah.
But it's progressive out here, but it's not like Oregon progressive.
Mm-hmm. No, Oregon's got its own issues. They're just different. Yeah. Our progressive legislation doesn't get through either. Mm-hmm. It's the old people at the top that are taking the money.
Is Washington better, do you think?
No. Washington's not better either. No, Washington, it's, yeah. There's a good insurgency of progressives in both, but there's certainly not progressive at the top in terms of leadership yet.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do, folks, because we're talking about the West Coast, that everybody goes, oh, it's progressive West Coast. Well, not so much.
Well, yeah.
It's interesting if you looking at the maps, the color maps of the thing, and that the blue, talk about the blue wall. I mean, it's just the blue is just down on the coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all red except for the coast.
Yeah.
Or except that what's that one county? What's that one county? Ventura County went red. That's the only one that's in Orange County.
When your Republican voters out there in your farmland run out of water, it'd be interesting to see where they go or who they blame.
Interesting.
Well,
my little county is blue. Yay.
The blue wave turned out to be nothing more than a puddle, right?
Well, well, this is just California.
Yeah. But overall, though, the blue wave is very, very iffy.
Yeah.
Did we get any Just Phoenix results yet? Any Just
the blue
Phoenix
dip?
Just Phoenixes?
Yeah. Did it ever get any on the 25? CD 25?
Yeah, she is still 4th.
Oh, okay.
Although it hasn't really been updated for a little bit now, so we'll see. We'll see in the morning.
They haven't called it, although Steve Knight says he's got 54.9%, but they don't have a check by his name.
Well, maybe we'll do some updates tomorrow and do a live update. So, hey, do we have We the People tomorrow?
No, we don't.
We could do an update.
As soon as we hit 10 o'clock and we go off the air, I'm actually on vacation.
Oh, so then we should do a California primary update tomorrow, Laura, because you'll be around.
Actually, I've got back-to-back doctor's appointments tomorrow because on the first day of my vacation, I take care of my doctors.
Well, I mean, that's a good time to do that, though. So.
Oh, and then I've got a sick kitty, so I have to take her to the vet. So I might not actually get to go on the vacation that I had.
All right. Well, fine then. I see you guys are.
Yeah.
I see this on Twitter. I don't really want to live in a world where Feinstein and Pelosi can be reelected in 2018.
Yeah.
Pelosi.
I mean, Pelosi was hard though.
Yeah.
I still think we're gonna get 2 or 3 progressives going on into the general though. Like Audrey Denny's showing some promising numbers. It's been continuously updated.
Brian Witt.
She's consistently coming in second. Brian Witt, same kind of situation, and we're going to have a few Greens who might end up going through simply because of how the numbers are getting structured right now.
All right. Yeah. It's not all.
I don't mind doing, at some time tomorrow, just do a little check-in.
All right. Sounds good.
I will.
We could do a nooner. So I had to throw that in. You guys are in a 4-way. I thought I'd throw that in. Ratings. I'm going for ratings.
Actually, I've got. No, I'm not going to tell you what I've got at 11:30. Okay.
All right. Jim Lockett's got to go to bed tomorrow too. All right.
Okay.
So, are we out of here? I got the song ready. I'm loaded.
I think we're out of here. Thank you, everybody. Here, 57 people still here. New people, Bryback. Thank you. Eco, Steve, Density. Still again. Thank you.
Marcus for being here all the way from Germany.
I know, and now he has to go to work. Sorry. Sun is rising in Marcus land.
Yeah. Again.
Joseph and Freeman, thank you. You guys are awesome. We're the Magic Squadron here for
thank you very much, Freeman.
Thank you, everybody. Eco,
thank you,
we're
John.
all waiting for Yellowstone to pop. Yes. All right, thank you. Here we go. Makano, we are the many, right?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ye come here, gather round the stage. The time has come for us to voice our rage against the ones who've trapped us in a cage, to steal from us the value of our wage, from underneath the vestiture of law. The lobbyists at Washington do gnaw at liberty, the bureaucrats guffaw. And until they are purged, we won't withdraw. We'll occupy the streets We'll occupy the courts, we'll occupy the offices of you, till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. Our nation was built upon the right of every person to improve their plight. But laws of this republic they rewrite, and now a few own everything in sight. They own it free of liability. They own, but they are not like you and me. Their influence dictates legality, and until they are stopped, we are not free. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the courts, we'll occupy the offices of you, till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. You enforce your monopolies with guns, while sacrificing our daughters and sons. But certain things belong to everyone. Your thievery has left the people none. So take heed of our notice to redress. We had little to lose, we must confess. Your empty words do leave us unimpressed. A growing number join us in protest. We occupy the streets, we occupy the courts, we occupy the offices of you, till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. You can't divide us into sides, and from our gaze you cannot hide. Denial serves to amplify, and our allegiance you can't buy. Our government is not for sale. The banks do not deserve a bail. We will not reward those who fail. We will not move till we prevail. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the courts, we'll occupy the offices of you, till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. We'll occupy the streets, we'll occupy the courts, we'll occupy the offices of you, till you do the bidding of the many, not the few. We are the many, you are the few.